next topic. Hello, good morning students. So today we start with our molecular biology next topic, that is translation. So this translation is protein synthesizing process. So we will see, before this you can also watch our first video that was on genetic code. That genetic code, so we have seen that will help how genetic information flow from one. Now we come to particle one molecule process to another. So first of that, DNA molecule transfers its information to messenger RNA, and this process is known as transcription. Then this messenger RNA in form of triplet code, and with the help of all the transfer RNA, ribosomal RNA, messenger RNA, ribosomes and many other things, and gets converted into protein and translates its information in form of protein or amino acid sequence. This process is known as translation. So now we have seen that its triplet code are in genetic code. They have special characteristics. They are specific, they are universal, they are redundant, they are non-overlapping, they are comma-less. These all you can see in our last recording about genetic code, the video about the genetic code. In this we will see that this double-stranded DNA is converted into single-stranded messenger RNA. These codes now, with the help of transfer this messenger RNA with transfer RNA, ribosomes and ribosomal RNA, it's converted into this protein form or polypeptide chain. This process is known as translation. Now we have seen what is translation. So conversion of DNA into DNA is known as replication, whereas conversion of DNA into RNA, the process is known as transcription. And conversion of this RNA in retroviruses, where there is genetic material in form of RNA, that RNA is then converted into DNA, and this is known as reverse transcription. This RNA then when it is converted in and forms protein or translates its information in form of protein, this process is known as translation. So biosynthesis of protein or polypeptide chain in a living cell is known as translation. Now we have seen that this transcription, where conversion of DNA into RNA takes place, it takes place inside the nucleus. Whereas protein synthesizing, that is translation process, it takes place in cytoplasm, that is outside the nucleus, and in ribosomes. These ribosomes are situated on the surface of rough endoplasmic reticulum. Now this is protein synthesis. So what we have seen, this messenger RNA is formed. This messenger RNA in ribosome is in the form of codons. There comes a special transfer RNA with amino acid. This transfer RNA one by one comes in front of their codons, which are coded on messenger RNA, and in this way this polypeptide chain of protein is synthesized. In this way the process protein synthesis takes place. Now we have seen that conversion of this DNA into this RNA or this RNA is known as transcription. Now this all together in presence of ribosomes are converted into protein, that is known as translation. Now why it is known as translation? Because it is called as translation because the nucleotide sequence of messenger RNA, the language of nucleotide sequence is translated in the form of amino acid sequence. Therefore it is known as translation. So nucleotide language is transferred into amino acid language, therefore it is known as translation. This messenger RNA is translated from 5' end to 3' end producing a protein synthesized from its amino terminal. So translation starts from 5' end of messenger RNA to 3' end, whereas amino terminal, the protein synthesis starts from amino terminal, that is N terminus, towards the C terminus. Now we come to protein synthesis, that is translation. So this translation has 5 stages. So after these 5 stages, complete protein is synthesized. So now what are the stages? The number 1 is requirement of the component. Requirement of component means what? So here we collect all the raw material, what is required for protein synthesis. These all raw material are together known as requirement of components, like all the 3 RNA, ribosomes, ATP, GTP, energy, some protein factors. These all are known as first stage is requirement of components. Then number 2 stage is activation of amino acid. In this stage, amino acid is activated. So how amino acid is activated? The amino acid is activated with the help of transfer RNA. This amino acid is attached with transfer RNA, and that process is known as activation. Then number 3 is protein synthesis proper. So number 3 step is protein synthesis proper. In that protein synthesis proper, initiation, elongation and termination, 3 processes are there where protein is synthesized. Now after this protein is synthesized, protein has to be folded in their uniform method. So that protein folding in presence of chaperones is the 4th stage. And then 5th stage, like after the protein folding, now polypeptide chain is ready. But like if it is lipoprotein, then lipid has to be added. If it is glycoprotein, then sugar has to be added there. This process is known as post-translational modification. So after the protein is synthesized, they are converted and the changes has to occur that are known as post-translational modification. So protein synthesis proper we will study in 5 headings. That is, first is requirement of component, where all material is collected. Then activation of amino acid. Then protein synthesis proper with initiation, elongation and termination. Then protein folding, and then post-translational modification. Now first step we come with the first stage, that is requirement of components. So components, what components are required for translation? So number 1 is amino acid. If a polypeptide chain has to be converted, then that polypeptide chain has many amino acid with peptide bond. So this all amino acid has to be there. These amino acid come with the transfer RNA. These all 3 messenger code comes in form of messenger RNA. Protein synthesis occurs in ribosomal RNA, and protein synthesizing factory is ribosomes. Then ribosomes have some proteins which are essential for protein synthesis. There are some factors which are protein factors, and energy we get from ATP and GTP. In this way, we have 8 materials to be ready before the protein synthesis starts. So 8 material are amino acids, transfer RNA, messenger RNA and ribosomal RNA. Ribosomes, then their proteins, their factors and energy in form of ATP and GTP. Now we can see here transfer RNA, where first we have to see how is transfer RNA. Transfer RNA, you all know the structure of transfer RNA. So transfer RNA has this 3' end and this is 5' end. So in 3' end there is a acceptor arm. This acceptor arm has a sequence of CCA. Their amino acid is attached, the new amino acid. So all transfer RNA have their respective amino acid attached over there. Then this is known as activation of amino acid. Then we have pseudouridine loop, we have a variable loop, then we have anticodon loop where these three bases are in form of anticodon. What the messenger RNA will recognize, that are these anticodons. Then we have dihydrouracil loop. So translation, we have seen the process that it takes place inside the ribosome. Ribosomes have two subunits, that is larger subunit and smaller subunit, that contains this messenger RNA which is in the form of codons. This 5' and this is 3'. So it starts from 5' end. So the first codon is of the start codon, that is always for methionine, that is AUG. The anticodon will have in this transfer RNA, that is UAC. In this way, all amino acid carrying transfer RNA will bind with the messenger RNA where the codons are present. Okay? In this way, the protein synthesizing takes place. Now we see the difference of ribosomes. So in prokaryotic ribosome, that is known as 70S unit, while eukaryotic ribosome is 80S unit. These eukaryotic ribosomes have two subunits, larger one is 60S and smaller one is 40S. Whereas in prokaryotic, the larger one is 50S and the smaller one is 30S. Now they are further divided in different RNAs. So larger one is divided in 5S RNA, 28 RNA, 5.8S RNA with 50 proteins. Whereas 40S, the smaller unit, is divided into 18S and with 30 proteins. In prokaryotic, it is 5S RNA, 23S RNA with 32 proteins. And this is 16S RNA with 21 proteins. Now we come to the second step, that is activation of amino acid. So how amino acids are activated? So this amino acid is activated in presence of ATP and enzyme, that is amino acyl transfer RNA synthesis. So this enzyme takes ATP and forms a complex with this amino acid, that is known as E is enzyme, that is amino acyl synthetase AMP amino acid. In this way, now this complex takes transfer RNA of its respective amino acid, whatever the amino acid is here, with that anticode this transfer RNA comes. This is known as next sequence, that is CCA amino acid. We have seen that it attached to the CCA amino acid. In presence of AMP, this enzyme is then again released and these are known as amino acyl transfer RNA. So this is activation of amino acid. Amino acyl transfer RNA is now activated and it is known as amino acyl transfer RNA. So amino acid in presence of enzyme amino acyl transfer RNA synthetase and ATP, it is converted to complex, and then this complex, this complex helps this amino acid to get transferred on the CCA 3' end. Now protein synthesis proper. The protein synthesis proper starts with initiation, elongation and termination. So in protein synthesis proper, there are 3 steps which contains initiation, elongation and then termination. First, in initiation step, now this initiation has subtopics or substeps, that are 4 substeps. These 4 substeps are what? They are ribosomal dissociation. So in that ribosome, that is 50S 70s in case of prokaryote and 80s in case of eukaryote. They are first dissociated. Then here this process we are saying about the eukaryotic initiation. In eukaryotic initiation we see that ribosomals are dissociated, that is 80s ribosome is dissociated into 40s and 60s units. This then comes the formation of 43S pre-initiation complex. In this complex, this dissociated ribosomes, the smaller unit, now for 40S unit, it combines with a transfer RNA and forms 43S pre-initiation unit. Then it combines with messenger RNA and it is formed 48S initiation complex. These two complexes, now this 48S initiation complex, now it is ready. So it gets now again associated with the 60S unit, and in this way 80S initiation complex is formed. So now we see the diagram, then you will understand more better. Synthesis involves the assembly of components. First we have assembled all the components and two ribosomal unit, subunit messenger RNA, amino acid transfer RNA with specific codons with messages and GTP and some initiation factors, and initiation complex is assembled. In prokaryotic, three initiation factors are known, that is initiation factor 1, initiation factor 2 and initiation factor 3. So this is difference in prokaryotic and eukaryotic. You see, in prokaryotes there are only 3 initiation factors, whereas in eukaryotes there are 9 initiating factors. So first we will see eukaryotic. So eukaryotic is 80S subunit. It is first step is what? Ribosomal dissociation. In ribosomal dissociation, this 80S subunit, 80S unit of ribosome is dissociated in form of 40S unit and 60S unit. The larger is 60S and the smaller is 40S unit. 40S unit then is dissociated in presence of two factors. These are factor 3 and factor 1A. These two factors are responsible to keep these subunits in dissociated form, so that this 68 will not now associate with 40S. So these factors help them to keep them in dissociated manner. Now this complex is known as what? 43S pre-initiation complex. But before that, this complex is formed. Before that, these factors, this 40S unit and these two factors, they get this smaller unit is attached to a ternary complex. What is this ternary complex? Ternary means 3. So complex of 3 materials. So 3 are what? One is messenger transfer RNA with methionine as amino acid. So first one is what? It is a transfer RNA with methionine as an amino acid. Then we have a factor 2. Then we have a GTP, this attached with factor 2. So all these 3 together are known as ternary complex. So now this smaller unit gets attached to this transfer RNA, which is having a amino acid methionine, that is initiation amino acid. Now we have 3 factors, factor 3, factor 1A, factor 2 and GTP molecule and a transfer RNA. This complex is known as 43S pre-initiation complex. Now this 3 and 1A, you know what are the role. Now factor 2 is what? It takes with it a messenger RNA. Now this 43S pre-initiation complex is converted into 40S initiation complex. For that it requires a messenger RNA. Now comes this messenger RNA with a factor that is known as 4F. So this 4F factor is recognizing the cap of what is that is 5' guanine methylated cap है ना in messenger RNA. So it identifies this cap and gets attached to the smaller unit that is 40S. Now this 4F factor and messenger RNA with 3, 1A and 2 other factors and transfer RNA. This all complex together is known as what? 48 initiation complex. But this 4F messenger RNA, it requires 4E, 4G, 4A and some protein factors and some protein, pebble protein and so on. Then these forms a 48 initiation complex. So in eukaryotes we have so many factors, but in prokaryotes we have only 3 factors, that is 2 factors this and 1 is 4F factors. In this way, in prokaryotes only a unit is smaller. In this way 40S as initiation complex is formed in eukaryotes. Now this initiation complex, it combines with 60S subunit and to form again 80S initiation complex. So before it was 80S complex, now it is 80S initiation complex. So you understood? So here we had 3 steps. First step, dissociation, when addition of ternary complex. Then in second step we have addition of messenger RNA with 4F factor, and then the third step was association. Again both units are associated, and as they associate, all the factors are released itself and they are again recycled or reused. So initiation translation process proper, we have now initiation is over. Now we see next. So here we have again a zoom picture. So you can see this 80S is converted into 60S and these 40S units are combined together with 3 and factor 1A, and then factor 2, this transfer RNA and GTP, these 3 ternary complex, it combines to form 43S pre-initiation. Then this 43S initiation complex, it combines with 4F and messenger RNA, that is known as what? 43S initiation, 48S initiation. Okay, here ATP is required. Then these 2 associate together to form ATS complex. Now role of these initiating factors. We have seen many factors here. What are its role? So we have seen factor 3 and factor 1A. These are eukaryotic initiation factor 3 and eukaryotic initiation factor 1A. They associate with 40S subunit and prevent reassociation of 40S and 60S. Then in eukaryotic initiation factor 2, it binds with GTP binary complex, which then binds to methionine transfer RNA and forms a ternary complex. Then factor 4E, it is a component of factor 4F and is responsible for identification of cap of messenger RNA. Hence is rate limiting step. It determined by Kozak consensus sequence. So this sequence is necessary. On messenger RNA we have this sequence where protein synthesis will start. Then poly AA tail has a binding protein pebble. This protein is essential which is bind at poly A tail. Interact with eukaryotic initiation protein and 4G and binds to ELP4E which bound to cap. Then these are bound to cap. So in this way all these 9 initiation factors play important role in eukaryotic initiation. Now this ELP2, it carries GTP, and ELP5, it carries GTP as activity. So these both bring hydrolysis. and these factors are associated again to form ATS units. Two receptor sites are there, P site and A site. Now we will see that now after formation of this ATS subunit, on this ribosomal unit there are two sites. One site is known as P site and one site is known as A site. Now we also have an E site, that is exit site. P site is peptide site, A site is amino acid site. So in first transfer RNA with methionine, that comes to the P site and new amino acid will come to the A site. Now we will see the process. So before that, going to the eukaryotic, we have seen eukaryotic initiation. Now I hope you understood. Now we come to the prokaryotic initiation. In prokaryotic initiation, we have seen that only three factors are there. Initiation factor 1, 2 and 3. So this initiation factor, so the smaller unit, we have seen that the ribosomal unit is 70S, which is then having two subunits 30S and 50S. So this smaller 30S subunit gets attached with initiation factor 3. Then first this initiation factor 3, and it recognizes a sequence, Kozak sequence, that was in eukaryotic, and in prokaryotic it is Shine-Dalgarno sequence. That sequence has AGG. So this Shine-Dalgarno sequence, which is found in prokaryotic messenger RNA, this is that sequence. So here that 30S subunit will attach. Now in that factor 2, this factor 2 will combine with the transfer RNA which has already methionine, that is activated with methionine amino acid, and that is the start codon. This promotes the binding of transfer RNA to start codon. Now this subunit with messenger RNA with this factor, this transfer RNA also will come here with factor 2. So now the structure is like this. This is the initiation complex in prokaryote. So we have seen now the elongation is similar to that of elongation is same as that of prokaryote only. So here also we have two units, you can see P site and A site. Now this is the complete process, all the factors are released and GP is released and this complex is formed, which is protein synthesizing initiation complex. Now the new amino acid will come at A site. You can see there are two sites, P site and A site. At the P site, the initiation amino acid with methionine, transfer RNA with methionine is attached, and new amino acid, like here we have seen that proline, it comes with and it will attach to A site. And here the one enzyme is responsible. Now this elongation process, it is similar in eukaryotic also, the same process is there, that starting is P site, then new amino acid adds on A site with, and the enzyme responsible is known as peptidyl transferase, which synthesize peptide bond. So now there will be a peptide bond between this methionine and proline. In this way the process takes place. Now eukaryotic initiation, we can summarize the eukaryotic initiation, then we will see the process. There is sequential addition of amino acid and these are known as sequential. Now we come to the elongation, in which sequential addition of amino acid, one amino acid is added to the nascent peptide chain. This peptide sequence is determined by a codon present on messenger RNA. Then it requires elongation factors. In that, in initiation there were initiation factors. Now in elongation there is elongation factors. So elongation factors, they form a ternary complex with GTP and an enzyme here responsible is amino acyl transfer RNA. Now this amino acyl transfer RNA binds to A site as per codon reading. This peptide bond is formed. Amino group of new amino acid binds with COOH group of methionine transfer RNA and at P site. The enzyme is responsible is peptidal transferase, and then now the amino acid from this A site will transfer to P site, and this is known as translocation. So now we see this here we have the diagram of prokaryotic elongation, but it is somewhat similar in eukaryotic also. So we see that now this methionine and proline have peptide bond, and this proline which was in this A site now transfers to P site. In this way it takes place, and A site is now free. Now this A site is free for again to introduce new transfer RNA with new amino acid. In this way as its sequence elongate. Now you see here is serine. Now the third amino acid serine has attached to the A site. Now again a peptidal transferase will synthesize a peptide bond. This serine will transfer to P site, and again the A site will be free for amino acid. In this way it continues. So this continuation takes place. The process of shifting and peptide bond formation continues over and over till the termination of codon. Termination codon is encountered. The elongation process is fairly rapid. With prokaryotic ribosome, 15 amino acid to the growing peptide every second they can synthesize a polypeptide with 15 amino acid. But in eukaryotes, you see 1000 amino acid or 10,000 amino acid are also synthesized in a peptide chain, but there is no wrong amino acid in every 10 peptides. So in this way, without mistake, 10,000 amino acids are processed error free. So now this serine comes to this here. A site is again free for acid. You see now so many amino acids are added, and after this when the amino acids are added in messenger RNA, when code comes termination codon, that is UAA, UAG or UGA. If any of this code of these three will come, then the termination starts. That is because for this there is no transfer RNA. For UAA there is no transfer RNA with an anticodon. So that is complementary to any of this and stops codon. Now termination is coming. Here we see that as the stop codon comes, a releasing factor comes. This is termination, that is a releasing factor which release this polypeptide chain from here. So the release factor causes the translational complex to fall apart and cleavage of polypeptide from the final transfer RNA. The polypeptide product is now free to function in the cell, and the messenger RNA molecule is now available to the translation again. Very often more than one ribosome will translate a single messenger RNA at the same time. One ribosome will initiate translation, and after it moves down the messenger RNA a bit, another ribosome will initiate. So this type of takes place. So on one messenger RNA, many of these ribosomal units are there, and this forms a polysome. This is known as polysome structure. When the structure consists of multiple ribosomes translating a single messenger RNA molecule is called polysome. It is degraded and translation that particular message will cease. Now comes the termination in eukaryotes. In eukaryotes also the termination is same with one of the stop codon, that is UAA, UGA and UAG. terminates the growing polypeptide chain. The termination codon occupies A site and the release factor, namely eukaryotic releasing factor, recognize the stop signal. This releasing factor complex and enzyme peptidyl transferase cleaves the peptide bond and between transfer RNA occupies P site. Water is added instead of amino acid and ATS dissociate to form 40S and 60S unit and messenger RNA is released. Now the fourth step is there. So we have seen components required, then we have seen activation of amino acid. The third, that was protein synthesis proper. In that protein synthesis proper we have seen initiation, then we have seen elongation, then we have seen termination in prokaryote and eukaryotes. Now we come to the protein folding. So there are chaperones which are heat shock protein like HSP70 system, chaperonin system. These facilitate, these chaperonins, what they do, they favor the interaction on the polypeptide surface to finally give the specific conformation. So like if the protein has to be folded in alpha helix formation, then these chaperonins and protein folding enzyme protein heat shock proteins, they help that protein to fold eventually with a specific conformation. There are also misfolding disease. If protein misfolds, you can see that many diseases are because of this protein misfolding, like cystic fibrosis, prions, Alzheimer's disease and Huntington's disease. These are all as a result of misfolding of protein. Then we come to the last part, that is post-translational modification. So post-translational modifications are what? After the protein is synthesized, now this polypeptide chain has to go some other modifications, like if there is synthesis of lipoprotein, then lipid has to be added. So this polypeptide chain is synthesized in ribosome. Now these polypeptide chains come inside the endoplasmic reticulum. So all this post-translational modification, it takes place in endoplasmic reticulum, where folding of protein is taking place, some chemical modification takes place, intense splicing is there, cutting of the polypeptide chain, then proteolytic cleavage is there. We see modifications like at amino terminal, glycosylation will take place, acetylation will take place, formalization will take place. At carboxy terminal, methylation will take place, arginine synthesizing, then methylation will take place, aspartic acid phosphorylation and hydroxylation will take. In glutamic acid formation, these are all amino acids. They will this glutamic acid synthesis will require carboxylation and methylation. Now protein synthesizing, this translation has some inhibitors. You see antibiotic streptomycin, it inhibits synthesis of protein by misreading messenger RNA, and it interferes with normal pairing between codon and anticodon. So codon and anticodon will not pair because it misreads streptomycin. Then tetracycline, it inhibits binding of amino acyl transfer RNA to ribosomal complex. So it will not help. So it will not. It will inhibit to form pre-initiation complex, because amino acid transfer RNA with factor 2 we have seen that is coming with factor 2. So that will not bind. Then puromycin, it inhibits as it resembles amino acid transfer RNA, so it will enter in A site. Instead of that transfer RNA, it will enter and it stops growing polypeptide chain and causes its release. In antibiotic chlorophenicol, it is the competitive inhibitor of enzyme peptidyl transferase, and hence it interferes with elongation. Then erythromycin, it inhibits translocation. What is the translocation? That is moving of amino acid from A site to P site. So there it inhibits that mechanism. Then diphtheria toxin, it prevents translocation in eukaryotes in protein synthesis by inactive factor eukaryotic elongation factor 2. So it also inhibits elongation. Now at the last we see what are the difference between prokaryotic and eukaryotic translation. So in prokaryotic we have seen that ribosome is 70S ribosome with 30S as a small unit and 50S as a large unit, whereas eukaryotic has 80S ribosome with 40S subunit as a small and larger one is 60S. Then initiation we have seen that it is translation starts before transcription is completed. No messenger RNA processing is there, but in eukaryotes we need processing of messenger RNA, that is conversion into transfer RNA, messenger RNA, and our transcription and translation, they are two separate process in eukaryotes. In recognizing sequence, that is consensus sequence, in prokaryote it is Shine-Dalgarno sequence, whereas in eukaryote it is Kozak sequence. The initiator of transfer RNA is formilated methionine, but here it initiating transfer RNA carries methionine. Here formilated is there, but here there is no formilated. Then formation of initiation complex, we need here initiation factors, GTP, hydrolysis and binding of small ribosomal RNA to messenger RNA. But in eukaryotic there are initiation factors, several initiation factors, GTP, hydrolysis are required for formation of initiation complex. In peptide bond formation, enzyme peptidyl transferase ribozyme is in the 23S ribosomal RNA, whereas here it is in 28S ribosomal RNA of the large subunit. Post-translational event, mainly co-translational modification. Here there are post-translational modification. Here modification takes place with protein synthesis, but here it takes place after protein synthesis. After exported, protein is exported to endoplasmic reticulum. It is inhibited by antibiotics, that different stages of translation inhibits, which may be reversible or non-reversible. But toxins like diphtheria, ricin, puromycin and cyclohexamine also are toxins for eukaryotic inhibitors. Now thank you very much for the listening.